Hi there, and welcome to episode 11 of the Unruly by Nature podcast with my host, Sue Mim of Heart Connection Dogs, Rachel Knott of My Animal Matters,
Hello.
and me, Kim Howitt of Rado Canine. I am just going to get right into it, ladies, and start with a question. And it's relating to energy and how words matter and energetically affect another being. And last week, we talked about how we named our dogs and we joked about nicknames, but we didn't go there.
Mm.
But today, I'm going to lead us into this space because I think nicknames are so prevalent in our life with our dogs and other people, and even sometimes with us. So, do you notice or have you ever paid attention to your dog's energetic reaction, their body language, when you call them a nickname? And do you have a name that you've realized that they don't like that they just don't resonate with? It's not an energetic alignment for them. And then do you have one that just their whole body melts into it when you say it and they just feel so connected to it? And Sue, I think I'll just say you first.
Good day.
It's a good one, Kim. When you first said that, I was like, oh, I have to really think about this. I didn't realize it, but yes, it's fascinating, isn't it? I have many nicknames for my dogs that I use interchangeably. But there's, I'll start with Layla. So Layla, her affectionate nickname is Smuddles. And it is, I mean, energetically, isn't it? Smuddles. It sounds cuddly and sweet and come here, my sweetie, I want to kiss you on the face kind of thing. So yes, I think energetically it sounds like it is. And there's another nickname I call her when she's in trouble, but I think it's also the tone I use. I call her Mrs. Moo when she's when she's like, I can see she's going to pick up shit or do something. I'm like, Mrs. Moo. And so I think, yeah, Mrs. Moo could also be very affectionate, Mrs. Moo. But I think it's got a lot to do with the tone I use it in and the situations I use it in. So you can see if I say Mrs. Moo, she knows I'm not exactly excited about it. So she obviously associates that too with the tone, that specific name with the tone that I use. But as far as not the animal, seeing that the animal actually doesn't energetically perhaps respond, let's just say, in a positive way to that name. It was interesting that Charlie's name, at one stage, I thought, I can't remember. I think I asked an animal communicator, I don't know if it was one of you two, but I asked him if he liked his name because I felt that Charlie didn't suit him 100%. And what came back was Chaz. He didn't actually like Charlie, he liked Chaz. And I thought that was quite fun because Chaz was more jazzy and fitted him actually really well. So I don't know what he thought, why he thought Charlie wasn't a good fit for himself and he preferred Chaz, which I thought was quite interesting. So yeah, that's my experience.
It's very playful, Chaz.
It is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
isn't
And
it?
he is. It does suit him. It suits his personality.
It's a bit more jazzy, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh, we've got some music. That was Chaz
I'll
bringing
have
in
to
some
mute
tunes.
that.
Chaz on the decks.
Chaz on the decks. Maybe I won't mute it because then no one will know what happened. I don't know. Siri decided to play some music, I guess.
You have to find out what it was.
I don't know.
I love that.
Divine intervention early on. Chaz.
I think
Music
that's
by
a
Chaz.
really cool question. I just talk. We all talk at the same time. I was just, when you asked the question, I thought I don't have a word. I don't have a name that I use when I'm in disapproving mode with Darcy. And I'm actually not, apart from pack it in. Um, Pack it in. But that's not a nickname. That's an instruction. But you've now made me aware of it. So I feel like I'll be hyper aware of it. 'Cause I don't tend to call her Darcy. We call her Dardy. Puppy. I called Baxter Puppy before, and and actually it is very much my pitch, but I don't feel like I have a name that I call her that she disapproves of, but I'm going to be super aware of that. But it also got me thinking about rescue dogs. We're told not to change their name, aren't we? When you get a rescue
Yeah.
dog, so it stays familiar. But I'm like, no, I've changed all of my rescue dogs' names because it just felt like it was a new, wasn't it?
Yeah. We've changed every one.
Yeah. But no, it's not something I'm aware of with Darcy. Maybe because I worship the ground she walks on, and she's of course angelic, never does anything wrong. But it's mostly "pack it in" or would be her middle names. Or actually no. Okay, so thinking of when we're out and if we're stuck in a situation where a dog's coming towards us and she's in like stalk, like intense, I might in my head think, oh, you look like a dickhead. She probably doesn't like that one very much. She probably doesn't like that, but I think she finds it quite funny. Really, I don't know that she takes it personally.
Oh, that's funny. I think where this question came up for me was I realized that we have Django and he's 12 and a half. And I have called him this name since I can't remember not calling it, but I know, and it's a very affectionate name. I call him Boo Bear. And I'm like, "Come here, Boo Bear." And it's like, not that he's doing anything wrong, but I just started to realize that he had this like kind of just very subtle body language. And he just like his ear would drop, or, I mean, it was so subtle, and he's just like, "Oh, stop." Like, I mean, it's like when somebody calls you a childish nickname or whatever, I mean, I think I don't know, I don't have a nickname right now, but back in the day, I grew up in a small farm town and I didn't know what a heifer was. And so my nickname became, when I was a freshman in high school, Heifer. And I hated it. But it
Yeah.
lasted for 4 years. I graduated and everything I got was cows. And I had embraced it by then, but it took a long time for me to grow into it. So we also call Django like Jailbird, and he just melts into that. We're like, "Jailbird, what's up, buddy?" And he's just like, I'm a jailbird. I am so amazing. And and it's not like, from an English word perspective, you would almost think the first one would be the one he would prefer.
Mm,
Like Boo Bear, it's so like cute and cuddly, and he likes the other one that's more goofy and playful. But
mm,
like Zori Bliss, we call her Monkey, and she just freaking loves to be called Monkey. It's like we call her Dance Monkey. It's like her theme song is the song Dance
oh
Monkey.
yeah.
And she'll get up and spin on her feet, and she just loves it. But if you call her the mountain goat, she's not so sure. But she climbs on everything. She climbs on the back of the couch. She climbs on the counter. You know what I mean? So it's not like we use it with or without affection, but it's just like that energetically they're showing that
Mm,
they don't like it. And I think when we really start to feel into ourselves, we're the same way.
mm. When you're saying that, what it popped into my head that actually I also call Darcy Kid Rock, and or I'll be like, because she's from near Liverpool, so I'll be like, our kids, come on, our kids. So, and I feel she quite likes that because I tend to be a bit more loose in myself when I
Mm.
call her that. Like, I'm like, because Puppy's totally different, isn't it? I probably call her Puppy at home, but I call her Kid Rock when we're out because then she's just a totally different dog outside. She's a dog, 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 dog. Like, she's like, we're hunting, we're doing all of that. So I'm like, okay, Kid Rock, we've got this. So I change for sure as well, also when I use those different names. But like you've got me really thinking about that. I might just pull names out of a witch's hat and try on different names for her.
Ooh,
See,
I like
yeah.
that.
See if there's different names that come.
But so I'm going to grab that as well because I think that's interesting as you talked about that. It's like I have another one for Charlie called Sweetie Boy, and
Mm.
that's when also he melts into that because he loves affection. He loves being tickled
Mm.
and cuddled and told he's sweet and whatever. So if we say Sweetie Boy, he comes in and then he pushes himself against
Mm.
us. So he loves that because he also associates Sweetie Boy is like it is a very affectionate kind of name. And I'm just thinking maybe again, like if we're kids and we are given a nickname and then we're adults and we're given that same nickname, we may not like it because it's like, oh, that
Mhm.
was when I was a kid. I'm a grown up woman now. Don't call me that silly little piddly, puppy and sweetie dog. And, maybe that
Yeah.
it's like we've grown up from that. It's like mothers who want to call their kids the same name. I do as well. I call my kids, even though they're adults now, have the same nickname as when they were little kids. And yeah,
Yeah.
it may be affectionate, but it may also be like, come on, mom, I've grown up from that, So,
Yeah. I'm just thinking my mum, this is a very northern England term. She'll call me pet lamb. I love that. But I'm sure if she did it in a public place, I might be less keen, if I'm giving a talk or something. I don't know. Maybe I'd actually really like it. But I think it's contextual, isn't it? There's so much
mm,
context in how they feel about it, how we feel when we're saying it,
mm.
how, yeah. As you say, Kim, it's an energy. The word holds an energy, but I guess the energy of that word can change.
Depending on the intention, depending on the
Yeah.
it's sent in as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it changes. I think we change. And I think that's maybe the whole key here is how we change every second. I mean, we're never the same. And from Django, I mean, I never ever called him Boo Bear in an intention that was not meant except to be snuggly, but he's not.
Mm,
He loves to lay and touch you, but it's his terms, and
mm,
he doesn't love he's very sensitive with his seizures sometimes, and he doesn't love hands on him, so you can give
mm,
him a quick pet and then stop, and so he's very specific in what he likes, and I think that name just, whatever reason, bounces off him, and it doesn't
Mm.
resonate,
mm, mm.
but so I'm, like, trying to get out of the habit, so to speak, I'm conscious of it now, and I notice it, and
So here's something fun to consider. I heard this on a podcast by she's a neuroscientist, but she was talking about her daughter, her teenage daughter, and she was saying that um, it's so hard as a parent, and you can think of this as a parent to a child or a dog parent or whatever. It's so hard not to want the best for your whatever, your child or your animal or whatever. And if they're hurting or if they're sad or depressed or unwell or whatever, it's very hard for us not to go in there and want to fix and change because we just want to take the suffering away, right? We want to
Mm.
support them. But she was saying that she's really learned to just be there and listen to her daughter when her daughter wants to say how she's feeling or blah blah blah. She's learned to really just sit there and listen and hold space and not go in there with, trying to want to do things. But the other way around, she said she now asks her daughter, sometimes she really says, like, I'm in mom mode now. And I'm feeling really irritated because your room looks like a bloody mess. And I just want you to know that she says, I actually asked permission. She says, can I please just be in mum mode for 5 minutes and nag you? So she doesn't just go in there and nag. She actually preempts and says, this is me wanting to express. This is me wanting to just vent. I know it's all about me. It's not about you. It's about me feeling uncomfortable. But would you allow me to just be a mom and just vent for a moment? And I thought that's so powerful, actually asking
mm,
another person and being open and honest about, this is me, this is my stuff, but I want to vent.
Yeah, you're owning it, aren't you?
You are, aren't you? You're owning it. This
It's
is my
different.
stuff, but I also want your permission because I just want to do it. You're right.
Mm.
Yeah, I want to say, this is a mess and it's making me mad, and I want to fix it because I don't like it.
Mm.
So I was just thinking, now, how would you put that with our animals, for instance? How do you switch that around and also give them permission to be who they are? And at the same time, like when you want to call Django, what's it, Boo Bear? Boo
Yeah.
Bear. Say, Django, I know you don't really like this, but I just want to mum moan and I just want to Boo Bear on you a little bit.
Yeah.
So imagine if we could do that. I mean, I know they can't, in a mental capacity say yes or no, but I think they would get the intention if we could just say, bless me, because I just want to give you a little Boo Bear moment because it
I
feels
love
good
that.
for me.
That's brilliant, actually.
Uh,
Instead of stopping, right? Yeah, I mean, because
yeah,
I feel good when I say it, and it's just
yeah.
this very affectionate thing. I kinda like that a lot, yeah.
I feel the difference is when you were saying this is the bit that stuck out to me was the bit where you're saying you're owning that it's for my benefit. That
Yes.
actually, then you're not kind of dumping on that person.
Mm.
You're just saying this is me needing. You're basically saying I just need to listen to myself. Is what I've all
Exactly.
said. I was
Yeah.
talking to one of my animal communication mentees about the difference between sympathy and empathy,
Oh,
and it's come up quite a few times. When I've been around people that are learning animal communication and they come across an animal that's had something really difficult happen, or there's trauma, or they're in pain, and they're in sympathy. So okay, maybe I'll ask that question. What to you is the difference between sympathy and empathy? How would you describe the difference? Kim, do you want to go?
you were supposed to define that.
I can define it. Okay, so so for me, sympathy is where you think something bad has happened, something's gone wrong. So you like that. Say, for example, a dog has runs through some barbed wire and like torn a ligament. Yeah, of course we don't want that consciously to happen to our animal. But when we're in sympathy, if you're communicating with that animal, you're in sympathy, your energy's like, oh no, oh, I feel
Mm.
really bad for you. That's really awful. So you're kind of feeding the story in a way. Well, not in a way, you are feeding the story. You're, it's, it's not a bad thing, but it's actually very different from when you approach the animal with, I hear you, I feel you, I see you, but I know you're on your own journey.
Mm.
And I'm here to support you, but I'm not here to change your
Mm.
experience. So the
Mm.
sympathy almost like holds them in that place. It's like an energetic hug of what's that? I'm just trying. If I put it in a human term, so if someone comes to me and they're moaning about their mom, and they're like, just moaning, moaning, moaning. And I'm like, yeah, oh, that's really rubbish. Oh, poor you. And I just feeding their story. So that to me is sympathy. Whereas empathy is like, I'm going to hear them and I might reflect back some stuff, but I am just going to hear them and I can really feel their discomfort. I can really feel what they're experiencing. So it's a much kind of cleaner, clearer space. And when I'm in empathy rather than sympathy, I'm aware of so much more. I'm aware of maybe what's going on for the mum. I might pick up on other things that are going on. Whereas if I'm in sympathy, I've contracted. I'm like, oh no, that's awful. And I'm kind of looking through what I'm doing. What's that? Tell us hello. Like
Pinhole.
a
I don't know. Like a
pinhole. Yeah.
little.
Can, and I,
Th
yeah. Does that land? How does
and
that?
Absolutely.
that's a perfect explanation, honestly, because it's really true. I think we fall into and I think I've seen it in myself with Django and the stroke he had a couple of months ago, and you try to I watch him and he doesn't think anything about it. He's not focused on that. And if I went, "Oh, you poor dog," I would treat him differently then,
Mm,
rather than seeing this dog who's full of life in the best way he can be in that moment, and allowing him to experience all the things that he experienced. Because if we flip that perspective, for whatever reason, that's just his experience, right? But I think we also it comes back to what Sue said about listening, and I think when we're in empathy, we're listeners,
mm,
we're not talkers.
mm,
So we're not trying to, when I think about, a loved one dies for someone, for example, and you're just like, "Oh my god, oh, I'm so sorry. I feel sorry for you." Like, this, right, the traumatic event that happened, you keep it in the forefront rather than seeing the perspectives. And you can feel the pain that someone is in, but just listen to them rather than perpetuate
mm,
the tale. And I think, yeah, there's just a different energy to it. But I also think that we just, what's the word that I'm looking for? Muck up the definitions of these words to where empathy, now we put it into, you're an empath. If
mm.
you can feel, and to be truly honest, we all feel. But you don't have to be an empath. I mean, I think we all are.
Yeah.
But we label people as empaths and then think they're special, and then we're like, "Oh, well, I can't be that."
Mm,
And so I think there's just a lot in there.
yeah.
But I love your explanation. I love it.
Mm.
Another, it's hilarious that this hasn't just come to me, and I don't think I shared it in the last podcast. I did a blog on it with Darcy and the firework exploding literally outside our door. And if I'd gone into, oh no, poor Darcy, that's awful, she's shaking, and just, well, I think what my partner was trying to say, because she was saying, well, I shouldn't feed it, I should just ignore her. That I was like, well, that's not helping, because you're doing the opposite of what you normally do. And normally you're very empathetic to her and really, whereas now you're suddenly going, oh no, just get over it sort of energy. That's not what I'm saying. The sympathy is kind of like the, "Oh, no, that's terrible. Oh, what can I do?" That kind of mollycoddly. I don't know if that's the right word. Whereas I was able to, like, from years of practice with my previous dog that had a firework phobia, I was really able to just sit with and be with her when she was shaking and when her ears are back. And it didn't mean I wasn't bringing things in. It meant I was just much better at listening and
Mm.
feeling my way on how to be with her. Or as if I'd been in sympathy, I just would have, I don't know, I feel, for me personally, I feel sympathy shuts down listening. I
Mhm.
feel it really closes my senses off because I am in that, like, that tiny, I keep going like this, like we're on, like you can see in a podcast. My perspective is narrowed. My
Mm.
energy is contracted, whereas I yeah, it felt so different being with her. And whether that changed the experience for her or not, I don't know, because it's the first time that that's happened. But it just felt good for me. It felt good because I was able to own how I was feeling about the experience, but also I was able to feel her and feel what was going on for my partner. So it just made me more like, oh, okay, this is happening. We're in it now. We're going to
Mm.
ride this together.
Mm.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I could go on a whole story about that, Rachel. But I think what's standing out for me, what I just wrote down as you were talking is, for me, empathy is understanding and compassion for for another's experience. So it really is, like you said, this in sympathy, we're getting stuck in the story. We are um, almost like resonating with the frequency of that emotion, and we are living it. Do you know what I mean? We're going into that story and into that emotion with them. Whereas the other, we can still feel the gravity of that emotion, and we can have compassion and understanding for them. And from that place is a far better place to support somebody
Mm,
from the other place of sympathy, which is, oh, this is awful, this is terrible.
mm,
Because and what, like you said, that sort of chat between you and your partner, isn't that what we hear so often about dogs in distress? We hear on the one camp will say, don't, don't feed them, don't mollycoddle them because you're just gonna, that's whatever. And the other camp said you have to support a dog when they're in fear. And so, but it is exactly what you're talking about here. It's how we support them in that moment.
mm,
And it could be, the sympathy could be too much of feeding into, not feeding. It's not about feeding fear or not feeding fear, not that conversation. That the dog is in fear, the dog is having a fearful experience, but it's what we add meaning to. And again, it comes back to something that I heard on that same podcast that I was talking about, is about how we we experience life because we give meaning to something. We give meaning to an experience. And in that moment, she is creating meaning about that firework that went off. And if there are added things in the environment, i.e., you or somebody else or whatever, that are adding meaning into that story for her on her behalf, then that is the meaning that she's going to take from that. It's that context that it happened in that
mm,
she's going to give that event meaning. Otherwise, it's just
mm,
an event, right?
mm,
It's just an event, and I felt fearful, and then I wasn't,
mm.
or whatever. So it can be, it's really sticky ground, isn't it? Between not supporting and supporting. It's got nothing to do that. You are supporting them, but it's the how you support them. And it is, like you said, from that place of empathy where you're there just with the animal, allowing their experience, allowing them in that moment, like you did so beautifully, Rachel, to allow that stress cycle to complete, offer her an essential oil that could help her come back into balance. But that's all it was.
Mm,
It wasn't this, oh God, I need to do something and I need to make sure that this is going to be not an experience that you remember, blah, blah, because it's
mm.
that energy that you then giving meaning to that event for her, or adding to the meaning of that event for her, which is
Yeah.
I
what she's going to take forward into the future.
Mm,
I love that, and I gotta come back in here and pull a little thread, because to me, what came and what I wrote down too while you were saying all of that was that you're stuck in the story in sympathy, but when you're in empathy, you're witnessing the story. You're letting
Mm,
it unfold and you're
mm,
mm,
becoming a witness to it. And I think I had this really weird thought, and I haven't said it anywhere because it was really weird. But I woke up the other day and I'm like, it's amazing how when we label something, we give meaning to it, just like you were saying. And then, your Raz brain like focuses on that label now. So now
yes.
you've assigned meaning to it. Now you focus on a label. Like you could have said Darcy reacted to the firework and been stuck in that story of she's reactive, right? But
mm,
you weren't. You witnessed and you did what felt good for you. And the other piece of this is to remember that we're not separate.
mm.
So even though Darcy had the experience, you are having it too as a witness. Rachel, you said it when you were talking about the story that you felt good in how you supported her. But that also means she felt good and your partner felt good
Mm,
because you're not separate.
mm.
And I think that energetically, we're just not separate, and that we keep being shown ways to remember this. And we're going to continue to be shown ways to remember this just as a reminder.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful, Kim, and I'm going to take that one step further from there as well, and to say we absolutely are all connected. We are all one, but we're all having an individual experience of the same event through our
Mm,
own lenses. And it became apparent to me, we were sitting around at during the Christmas season. It wasn't Christmas dinner, but it was during the Christmas season, and we were sitting at the table, and we had a guest this year that came, and we were sitting around the table, and at one moment I just let go of what I was thinking, and I just moved into my body, and I thought, what am I feeling about us sitting here. And what came to me was, this is 4 nervous systems sitting here together trying to read each other. And that's exactly what it felt like. It was like, how do I read this nervous system so that I can respond in a way that I think that I should be responding? And we were all doing this. And I just thought, it was relaxed. Nobody was uptight. But I could feel this underlying thing of these nervous systems trying to figure it out, trying to figure out the energies. How is this appropriate? What is that one feeling? How are they receiving me? How do I need to respond to that? It was mind blowing, because it was just like, it's like time stood still, and I could just see these 4 nervous systems trying to figure it all out. And yes, all these energies together. And yet, and I thought, everyone at this table is having a completely different experience, their own unique experience of what it is to sit at this dinner table and have this conversation with these people. And it was just, I don't know, I'm just saying it because I thought it was pretty mind blowing to realize that. And on top of that, the moment I realized that, I read that I could lead the energy. So I knew, by then really relaxing my nervous system and saying, let's just let it all out. Let's just let it on the table, and let's just be real and normal, and, instead of trying to pretend. And as I said, it didn't feel like a pretend, but under the waves, yes. And I just dropped I dropped everything. I just like, whatever, here we are. It's great to be here. It's so good to be in your company. And I'm just loving all of this. And it was like the whole room just went, whew, and it just like, everybody sort of took the lead. And it ended up being such a relaxed, cool meal. The kind of conversation changed to really personal stuff versus really superficial stuff. And it was really good. It was so cool.
Beautiful.
I love that. Feel, don't think.
Yes,
That, isn't
exactly.
That's
Be
just
like
it.
water, my friend.
I mean, and that's empathy, right? A state of feeling. At the end of the day, it's a state of feeling.
Yeah, and feel, the empathy that came through for me there was that each person is having their own experience and trying the best that they can in that moment to do what they think and they believe is right for them, and still trying to hold on to their own personal identities. It's beautiful, because I had such empathy for all of us. I really did. I really did. I really did.
I mean, that's a brilliant practice. I mean, that's such a great awareness to be able to do that in any situation. And I feel that that's the missing piece in our relationship with our dogs, is because they're there all the time feeling the energy of, but we're very top heavy and we're thinking a lot. And I feel that bit overcomplicates it quite a lot. I find generally in social situations, I'm quite quiet. And maybe that is because maybe I don't have much to say, but apparently not, because I've got a podcast. But I feel like I'm feeling my way a lot. And when there's a lot of energies bouncing around, I'm feeling that. And then I might just drop in with a truth bomb or something, or what I think is a truth bomb, or something really funny. But I feel it's such a good practice to get back into our bodies more, and whatever way that is for you. But it is a practice, because we're so out of practice with it. When I take some of my mentees into the rhetorical listening space, where you're basically tuning back into your body, the majority of them have never done it. They're like, oh, I didn't know that twinge was there. Oh, I didn't know I had ringing in my ears. Oh, my head feels a bit lopsided. They're just, there's no bodily awareness.
No.
We have so little bodily awareness. I was walking Darcy the other day down this hill, and I had her on a long line, but I had her on her canicross harness. But I was holding, which is obviously meant to be strapped to you around the middle, but I didn't. I had her on the longer line. I didn't want to go down this hill attached to this high-speed dog in the rain. But I realized I had her in my right hand, And it felt I was only holding the lead in my right hand. And I thought that must feel so strange for her, constantly being led from the right. So I switched it. So I had both hands on the lead in my center of gravity, which just felt better, but I just felt more connected to
Wow.
her.
Mm.
So I don't know, and I know when I learned how to do line work with Sheila Harper and feeding the lead, I know Sarah Fisher
Mm,
probably did that. She called it,
she did.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've learned how to do that and to apply but it's still in the right
Yeah.
hands. So when I tried out, I'm not a runner, but when I've tried out the Canicross, oh my God, it feels so good being hands free and moving with her body. And I'm more aware of my body. I think we need to play more with our.
Wow, that I love that. I'm just
Yeah.
yeah, as you were saying that, Rachel, I could actually feel the difference
Mhm.
of, like you said, that right heavy hand, which is
Yeah,
normally our dominant hand, which is normally more, let's say, less sensitive,
yeah,
right? We're often less sensitive with our dominant hand as well. So it's likely more pressure um, that you would give, and yet, as you say, putting it into the center. And through her harness, she can feel that difference. She can feel that. Plus, you feel more balanced as well, so she can feel
totally.
that. I love that, Rachel. I'm going to play with that.
Yeah.
I do. I love that, and I, like, realized I naturally hold the leash right on my belly.
Do you?
Yeah,
Oh,
just like at nose work class or whatever, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, "Yeah." I kind of
Oh,
already like, it was instinctive, I guess, at that point, and, yeah, I just wanna take this just one little step, one sentence further where, we're all having our individual experiences, but yet it blends up into the collective.
mm, mm,
So, it does matter. This work matters, learning about ourselves and remembering who we are. We're all different, but it's important. And I mean, our dogs are animals, even if you have cats, your companions that are a different species from you are such brilliant teachers to show us
mm.
the way because they live from their body. And I'm not sure when we became like just oblivious to it, I guess, at some point. I mean, I was an athlete when I was younger. As a kid. And I remember the first time I injured myself playing basketball, I sprained my ankle and it just turned black. And it was so swollen. And I remember my coach, I walked in the next day, I couldn't walk. And he's just like, "Well, we got to tape that thing up and get you back out there." And he, wrapped an entire roll of white tape around it, and I didn't know any better. I'm like, "Oh, I gotta toughen up and get out there," and, it hurt, but I just ignored it. And so
Mm,
for years and years and years and years, I had learned how to ignore my body.
mm,
And so the first time, and it's been years ago now, that the rhetorical listening, like the listening to your body and how it feels and having a conversation with it was mind-blowing to me
Mm.
mm.
because I realized that so many parts of me are screaming. So, you know, but it's like that's the path. That's just your and it is usually something in our life, a dog, a cat, a personal experience that brings us into
Mm.
this place of wanting to learn.
Yeah. I think it's like Rachel said with the rhetorical listening, we've completely disconnected
Mm,
from our body as being wisdom. And we're trying to override it all the time. We're trying to override what it's telling us. We're trying to override the symptoms or the signals that it's sending us all the time versus listening. It's wrong. The body is wrong. Let's give it, change it, get on with it. Yeah. And, when you said that, Kim, like allowing time for things to heal, allowing time for the body and to actually that's bruising it's not going to disappear overnight, and yet yeah, it's so easy for us to just put on a strap or put on, I don't know, put on some cream and just get on with it, just like your coach said, toughen up, get on with it.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
but
we
what
just don't give ourselves the time, do we?
no, but, then, like, there's that hindsight part of you, like, that knows now what you didn't have it. I mean, it's 14, you're not gonna know then. What if you had listened to that pain and trauma and sat with it, and how fast might it have changed?
Mm, mm,
Like, you don't wanna go there and live in that space because it's not here, but it's an interesting thought that now makes me excited to see what my body has to say today.
mm, mm,
And I just look at it so differently, and I think, Rachel, it goes back to what you were talking about, sympathy and empathy, and thinking that our body is wrong.
Mm.
Knowing that we're living in this place that there's no mistakes. It's all part of our remembering and our experiences, but there aren't mistakes, and it's hard sometimes when the shit really happens, but when it comes to our dogs, I think, we can give ourselves a break, and what a great model you were with Darcy.
Yeah, I just think it's not a coincidence that we took her outside just as a firework was going off.
Mm,
I know I understand that that was in some way medicine for all of us, even though we wouldn't have consciously asked for it, but on some level it was medicine. I mean, for one, it's given me a story for a podcast. Number two, made me, well, actually, one of the big ones was really talking to my partner about this whole, because actually she's very nurturing with Darcy. Like she's a real sap with her. We both are. But as soon as she demonstrated a fear, it was, oh no, she needs to just get on with it. But
yeah,
that
can't,
was
yeah.
that
Mm,
was how she would have treated
mm.
herself. Like that's what, if she has a fear coming up, she would just be like, "Rock, no, just got to push through it."
Yes.
But I'm saying, but it's not bad. The fear, it's not something to
Mm,
be beaten up. It's not something to be overcome, which is what
yes.
we've been taught. We've got to control our
Mm,
fears. We've got to push through them.
yes.
There's a
mm,
show on at the minute called SAS, Celebrity SAS. Oh, I literally tried to watch it just for the hilarity, but I couldn't bear it because it's all about like beating down your fears. And it's just like that fear is not this enemy
Mm,
mm-mm,
of the state. It's just it's an energy like sadness, like pain, like grief, like anger. It's an energy that we've labeled a certain thing and it just wants listening to.
mm,
So Darcy didn't know that she was in fear. She was just having a response to what to the energy, to the sound,
mm,
to the all of the other stuff that happened, the smells and our energy, etc., etc. So yeah, whether it's about really understanding the firework, I think it's such a big thing with so many dogs that have got those sensitivities
mm,
to fireworks. And it is really difficult to watch them be in discomfort, like you said, Sue. But I think if we can, number one, see the mirror that
mm,
the reason we hate it so much is because we have a lot of fears that we've buried deep and we're trying to overcome and beat down.
yes.
So that's often the really obvious mirror that
spot on, spot on.
it's
Yeah.
like, well, what fears am I? And there'll be millions of them. And it's
Mm.
not then to work them all out. It's just to, as they come and,
Acknowledge that they're there.
yeah,
Yeah.
like in your
Mm.
dreams, they come through in dreams, don't they? I had a dream
Mm.
that I'd been captured by ice because I'd had lots of, I don't know what they're, as in America in ice, where they're going round.
I thought you meant like
Not
ice,
ice, not ice.
snow
I don't know
ice.
what they stand for. I don't know what the ice stands for, but I had a dream that I'd been captured because I'd had lots of reels coming up on my phone. And I woke up and I was being interrogated. So I woke up and I was like, I mean, obviously I'm not in that situation, but I'm aware it's happening. But the story served a purpose for me to access that feeling, that
Yes.
fear that's come from somewhere. But I'm going to pivot slightly.
Wait,
Coming
before
to,
you pivot,
oh yeah, go.
I'm going to, because this one fits in really good. Wasn't going to share it, but I think I'm going to because it's powerful. Trigger warning, people, trigger warning. So on Sunday night, I had a dream, and um, it was a dream of me being trapped under a log and rubbles. My left leg had been trapped under something. There was, I don't know, some explosion or something. I don't really know the finer details, but I was trapped under this log and I was alone. and I was screaming for help, and nobody was there to help me. And I suddenly realized that I was going to die alone in pain in this moment. And it was a lucid dream. So I was aware of what was happening. And in that moment, I realized that my leg in bed as I was sleeping was twitching uncontrollably, and there was a lot of pain in my leg. So I just recognized what was happening, and I thought either the dream has triggered this or my body's triggering the dream, one of the two, probably both. But I need to listen. And the first thing was get up, move, rub my leg, have some water, drink, do whatever. Again, this is like, what do we do with bad dreams? You wake yourself up and you pretend it's not real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't always done this. My normal go-to would have been exactly that: get up, go and do something. And I just thought, no, this is very strong. It feels very uncomfortable. I feel the pain, I feel the discomfort, and I feel the fear. And I'm just going to stay with it. And I did. And all I did was, it was like empathy. I just held my leg with my hands and just wasn't trying to rub the pain away or anything. I just held it and allowed the warmth of my hands to go down, because I had this ice cold feeling in my feet as well. And it sort of just went down there. And this wave of fear came up, this wave of terror just came up with that. And it was a terror of, I'm going to die, I'm alone, I'm trapped, and I'm powerless. And saying those words in my mind, just my leg just started uncontrollably shaking. Oh, it's coming up now.
Wow.
And I just was with it, and I was just breathing with it, breathing there, not trying to make it go away, not trying to analyze it, just saying, this is real. It's happening, whether one thought could have been, this is a past life experience and whatever. Another thing is just, it doesn't matter what it is. It's a metaphor right now telling me that this lives inside me, that these emotions of fear, of death, and trapped and uh, um, powerless are inside me. They're living inside me, and they're okay to be there. It's normal. These are real life things. And all I have to do is allow that wave of emotion to come, to rise, to crest, and to fall. And just do that. And I did it, and it dissipated. The pain dissipated. My breathing went back to normal. And I sort of turned over, wanted to go back to sleep again, and realized it came again. And I just allowed it again. It was like, oh, fuck, no, I can't do this again. And I did. I just said, I'm going to be there as long as it takes. And I'd say the waves came 2 or 3 times. It felt like hours. It was probably minutes. But it did. It dissipated and went. And eventually I had that closure, and I had that realization that the insights just came flowing after that, right? That's when the insights come, because I've allowed it to just process and be there. And the whole insights about how I'm searching for freedom. I'm wanting external circumstances to allow me to be free. So like, I'm searching and I'm seeking for freedom, and I'm creating these things in my life that keep these experiences in my life that are making me feel trapped and powerless, because I'm seeking the freedom outside of me versus I have the freedom. I've just demonstrated that I have the freedom to move through that situation in a completely different way, as in being sucked into the sympathy of that fear and whatever. And then it was just beautiful. I slipped back into sleep. I went back into the dream, and it was like there was a distance between me now and the me in the dream. And I was supporting with empathy that person going through that experience. And just like the fear just dissipated, and the whole, again, realizations of this is, it's the person who was dying in the dream, whether it's me or a metaphor, it was this person's just moving on to a different transition. It's not death. It's just the fear that and the story around the transition. And yeah, anyway, I'll leave it there. It was pretty intense. It was pretty awesome at the same time. And it was just one of those experiences with just sitting
I'm
with that fear.
literally, and I feel like you could take that piece and play that over to a million people across the planet
Yeah.
or more, because it's so powerful. Like, as you were sharing it, I was like, I could feel my body breathing. I could feel it relaxing. It's so simple. That's the bit, isn't it? It's really
It is
simple,
simple, but it's not easy
but
in the
it's not
moment because
easy.
everything inside of me said, run, get
Yeah.
away from it, wake yourself up, pretend it's, it's not happening, it's not real. That's what you want to do. That is your automatic response, which is
Yeah.
exactly what we've been talking about, is about this. Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to shut it down. We want to pretend it's not there, push through it, whatever. This isn't pushing through it. This is acceptance of what is real and saying, I experience this and it's just coming and going. It's in flow. That's it.
Yeah,
I
it's
remember
it it's in flow and it's allowing the emotion to
Allowing.
surface, and I think that's the key thing where you said you allowed it to rise and leave. I think so many times we wanna make it go away if
Mm,
it's pain or fear. We wanna overcome it if
mm,
it's fear, right? And we wanna own it, and yet I it's embodiment. It's
mhm,
embodying the fear and knowing that it belongs with us. It's part of us, and when you're having those types of dreams, that's very healing for other
That's what it felt like.
that's
Yeah.
other things, right? And then the insights flow. I had a similar experience with physical illness over the holiday that was just relentless, and I just the body is not doing anything wrong. This is just
Mhm, mm,
honestly a healing experience, and you go into that listening space, and your active imagination actually, I mean, mine kicks in, probably not the same for everyone, but my imagination kicks in. It can be terrible. Like,
mm,
I'm gonna use the word terrible just for emphasis, but it's really not terrible. It's it feels in the moment like it's really hard,
mm,
but it's oh my gosh, the response after you just let it speak itself
mm,
was
mm,
amazing. And then I had this thought again, right? I said it before, what we label, we give importance to. And then I started thinking about, do we go out in a walk and like label things? Because if we did, like, we'd give importance to nature
mm,
instead of, the pain in my foot or
mm.
the fear of this thing. And then we can beat ourselves up beyond anything if we don't act like what the book said we should be. It'll take you 3 weeks to heal this thing, and, like, I'm 6 months into this, man, and it's not changing. What's wrong with me?
That
Right?
creates this
Yeah,
pressure,
yes.
doesn't
And
it?
then yeah, exactly. Then you say,
Cycle,
what's wrong with
cycle.
me? What's wrong with my
Yeah.
body? And it is, like you said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's doing
No.
exactly what it's supposed to do.
And again, like, your and Rachel's, like, incredible responses to things that have happened are yeah, you could put that on a speaker and start driving around neighborhoods.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's for me. It's just I'm just learning not. I recognize that for most of my life I've run away from fear. I have,
Mm.
anything that's fear or discomfort. I've done anything to suppress it, to run away from it, or pretend it's not there. And now it's just time to recognize that it's not nearly as scary as we think it is.
Mm-mm.
It's uncomfortable, yes, but it passes, and it's you know.
Yeah. I'm going to go off piste a little. It's
Go.
all relevant though. So, ding ding. I don't know what that was. Just emulating sounds in the background. Maybe that was in my head. So, one of my mentees, we jumped on a call the other week and I said, oh, let's do this. This will be fun. Let's start the session with an aromatic. So I asked her how many she had in her essential oil box. I think she said like 28. And I said, I've got about 42. So I said to her, you pick a number for me and I'll pick a number for you at
Mm.
random. Just do it just quickly before the call. Anyway, I gave her number 12 and she gave me number 11, say. Anyway, she gave me, I went upstairs 5 minutes before the call, go into my books, and number 11 is missing. Well, that's because number 11 is sat on my desk that I've been inhaling. It was eucalyptus because I'd had a really stuffy nose. So then when we jumped on the call, I shared this with her and she said, it's so funny because number 12 for me is orange sweet. And she said, I had a healing session the other day with a friend and she said I needed to sit with orange sweet. So I'm like, okay, that's really cool. So what we did was we then connected with our aromatics together. They're different ones. And we were just sharing. And I said, I can picture myself I said, I'm like a stone man sat on Hadrian's wall. And she said, who's Adrian? And I said, Hadrian. I said, Hadrian's Wall, which is an old, my history's not good, but it's like 73 miles long. It's this ancient wall. I think it's in Yorkshire. And she said, oh my God, that's so weird because my son's been learning about that at school today. So there are all these like little things as we're pinging back and forth about it. And then she went and sat with Orange Sweet eventually. And she said, I've been so blocked with my art. She says, normally I only ever draw what I see. But she drew this being, which was really cool. And she's like, I don't know where that came from. And I'm like, well, doesn't matter, but you've done something different. You've sat with an oil that has come to you at least twice now. And then whatever came through, she expressed that as art, which maybe is what you do, Sue, too, right? But I'm like, is that the plant expressing itself? Is it the plant acting as the channel for the, I don't know, but it was so
cool.
So
So
cool.
cool.
So cool.
That's awesome.
It is brilliant.
Not random, right? Never
No,
random.
never random.
That should be our tagline. Never,
Never random.
Never random.
Unruly and never random.
Never coincidence.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What oils have you got?
I've got green mandarin.
Oh,
Beautiful.
nice.
I love it, love it, love it. Mandarins is obviously, it's, in season fruit wise, and it's something that I do enjoy. And so this is green mandarin. So it's got a slightly,
Bit
sharper.
more bitter.
Yeah, slightly sharper, sort of bitter, but also just delicious.
Tasty.
I like green mandarin.
What's yours, Kim?
Today, my magic hand picked jasmine attar.
Oh, very well done, Jasmine.
So,
magic hand.
If people don't know what an attar is, it's an essential oil blended with sandalwood. A sandalwood base, and it's just, this is probably next to Pink Lotus my favorite. They're similar in their lightness, but it's it was perfect for me today because a little bit later I have a wake to attend, and then Jim's aunt just passed. So
shame.
It's like a bright, kind of just, it's like you're getting a big hug.
And
So it's emotionally uplifting is the phrase I would choose.
And Kim, I'm just going to add that when I first thought of an oil before we hopped on here, jasmine came into mind. I don't have the attar, I've just got the jasmine. And jasmine came to me on a walk, the actual flower and the scent of it. And I thought, it's only a couple of months and we'll start getting the little jasmine flowers again. And it's so interesting because now that's 2 hits. And both times I've said, no, I don't want to go there. It's too sweet. So maybe it's just the signal that I need to, yes, go there.
And get the attar. Is that the sambac? Or it's called?
It's just jasmine
attar.
Holding it up to the camera. Can't see it.
Kathy Skippers.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Which was great because we just talked about her last week. So
we did, yeah.
And I pulled that one today.
So I have a bit of a hard-hitting one. I've got almond bitter.
Oh.
I know. I've got it quite a distance away from me, but interestingly, rather than smelling it, I'm breathing it in through my mouth.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't lick it because otherwise I'll be I will be salivating, like, I think my lips will swell up, and it's not it is a mucous membrane irritant in its undiluted form, but, oh, it smells like marzipan.
Oh,
So I do
Mm.
what I do, and I've really been cutting back on sugar, not in a forced way, in a just like I felt I wanted to eat less processed sugar. But maybe this has given me some kind of sweetness, or
mm.
maybe it's helping me clear out the sugars. I don't
Mm.
know, but
If you blend it with orange sweet, it smells like a cookie.
ooh,
Mm.
mm. Noms, great.
Delicious.
Amazing. Well, I feel like we have brought this to a beautiful, calm close
Mm.
with our oils.
They have done just that.
What an outstanding conversation. We could take this one layers and layers and layers farther too.
Yeah,
I mean, we just so much to add and say, but
Mm.
I just want to end this with a minute of gratitude for you guys, for Sue, for Rachel, for expanding me every conversation.
Ditto.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I think we'll
Thank you,
sign off right
ladies.
now. Thank you very much. Any last words?
No, in gratitude. Thank you, ladies. Love you madly.
Head shakes. Love you to the
Head shakes
moon.
and nods.
Head shakes and nods for the people that don't have video. Bye now.
Au revoir.
Bye.